Well, good morning, stroke community. Good morning, my stroke brothers and sisters worldwide. It's Aaron Albert coming to you live from Stroke Chief Genius Podcast Survivor Experience. And boy, have I got a treat for you. I've got someone I've been watching for quite a while. And someone that really didn't know it was watching him, and I've been impressed with what he's doing out there to help stroke survivors. And I wanted to introduce you to Brent. Brent, I have such a hard time with South Day no Calhoun. That I don't know why that's hard. So let me bring him on right now. We get right into this.
The Stroke of Genius podcast, hosted by brain aneurysm and stroke survivor Aaron Avila, sharing the experiences of survivors and CEOs. This is your destination for inspiration.
Well, good morning, Brent.
Good morning, Aaron.
Great to have you. Where are you coming from?
I live in Michigan, in the USA, and I live in the south eastern suburbs. So that's where I've grown up, and mostly I've lived here.
All right, great. Thank you. Well, I really am excited to have you. I've been out there watching the stroke community for a while. Anybody that's willing to get out there and help and use a stroke to help other stroke survivors, hats off to you. You got my respect. But I want to talk a little bit. I want people to know before your stroke, you were a partner in a veterinary clinic, emergency veterinary clinic. Right?
Yes, I'm a veterinarian, and I got into. I looked. Uh, um, took a different path than a typical veterinarian. Everybody says, oh, "Where do you practice?" But my practice was a little different. I found that I loved the business of veterinary medicine instead of practicing veterinary medicine. And I, anyways, I met, and I met this person in veterinary school because he was a year behind me. But he went, graduated from veterinary school. Then he went and did an internship for 1 year. And then he went to be a veterinary ophthalmologist. He took a residency. So that's similar to a physician. But then he and his wife, which is a veterinary cardiologist, started his practice of specialty medicine. And then 3 or 4 years later, he had an emergency. And so it basically became a 24-hour hospital for helping pets that often they get wrote off sometimes by their veterinarian, or their veterinarian knew that they needed more, and so we became the last step they could take before their condition killed them, or sorry,
Right.
they died.
Yeah, right.
But
So cute to Brent, you survived not one, but two strokes.
yes,
What good? What were you doing when you had your strokes? Here you are, active veterinary person. What were you doing when you had your strokes?
sleeping.
See, woke up a stroke survivor.
Yes, I didn't realize I was 50, 50 years young, and I was. I got up in the morning. I didn't realize I had a stroke, but I went about getting ready for work, and I fell, and that is really unusual. But I just popped up, and I just thought, that's odd, that's weird. But I went and got ready for my work, and I had a meeting the first thing in the morning but we were we by that time had grown to be in 3 locations, 2 in southeastern Michigan and 1 in western Michigan. And so I didn't have time to get to one of my locations. So I pulled off into a restaurant and had it for, we fortunately, the technology had progressed to we could do this. So we could see on the computer and we could talk by phone. That was before Zoom and StreamYard and other things like that. And anyways, I had a really bad headache, and I had headaches about 3 or 4 times a year, and they would last about 3 to 5 days. I call them migraines, and they had happened since high school. So I was in the midst of a migraine, and I just thought, wow, this is really bad, worse than normal. So I told my manager after the meeting was over, I said, Kathy, could you handle things, because I'm going to go home and rest. And she was surprised, and I was surprised telling them. But anyways, I went home, didn't even bother telling my wife, and I slept for about 3 or 4 hours. And I got up, and I felt a little bit better. But we had I have 2 sons, and my older son, who was in 8th grade, had a recital that evening, a violin recital. So I got ready, and my wife came home, and she was surprised that I was there. But because she was focused on him, my son, we just got ready, and we all went to the recital in separate cars. And anyways, I just noticed I wasn't talking very much. And basically throughout the day, I didn't realize my speech center had been taken out by the first stroke. And I didn't realize that it was happening. And then when it was over, my wife took my kids to the ice cream place, and I said, well, I'm going to go home. But while I was on the way home, and I decided that I was going to get some DVDs in case I wanted to take off the day again the next day. Then I could watch the DVDs for entertainment. But that's when I found out I had a problem, because my wife got home and I wasn't there, and she was surprised. So she called me on the cell phone, and she said, where are you? And I couldn't answer her. And I realized, oh, I have a problem. So my wife is in the advertising industry. She's a producer. So she went into her producer mode, and she asked 20 questions and asked me, are you at the grocery store, at the pharmacy? And she finally said, are you at the library? At least I could say yes and no at that point. So I said yes. And then she said, well, I don't know what's going on, but come on home and we'll figure this out. And she convinced me to go to the emergency room. And a few hours later, the doctor told me I had a stroke. And I still didn't believe that could happen. So then the second happened when I was in the hospital still. I don't know why people often say, were you in the hospital when it happened? But once again, I was asleep. So sometime between Friday night and Saturday morning, then I had the massive stroke, which took out my right side of the motion of my right side. That was it.
Wow. So someone probably should have told you this is not a competition. One stroke is probably good enough, but you decided to have 2. But so I'm curious, Brent, did you know what a stroke was before I had one? Did you know what one was?
Well, being a veterinarian, I understand the what goes on, but that's on the intellectual level. I knew it, but I didn't even imagine what I could have it, because my dad had several strokes, and had that uh, stroke when I was before the strokes happened to me, and I understood the intellectual reality, but I didn't understand the emotional reality.
Yeah, if you do now, imagine you someone want to talk about a little bit with you. Is that you had your stroke? I'm assuming you don't practice anymore, correct?
I have not had another one. Yes,
No, you're actively a veterinarian, correct?
yes. Um, I was in a rehab for 6 months. And so I was in the hospital or the rehab place for 9 weeks. And then I had outpatient therapy 3 days a week for almost 5 months. But when I was doing the outpatient therapy, I started to go back to my work being part time. I went in twice a week for 6 hours. And my partner, the original partner, the veterinary ophthalmologist, was wonderful. He really is. Uh, he um, did anything he could to allow me to transition back to my work, and I wanted to. I really did, and we attempted to do that over the next longer over the next year, and but it was clear that I was not getting better fast enough that I wanted to, so we
Right.
retired.
Yeah, same with me. I had my stroke when I was 47, and unlike you, my financial advisor at the time used that as an opportunity to take my company. So it did a lot, but pretty much I could have ran into I had a brain aneurysm and then a stroke, and I was in no position, no mental cognitive position of telling a company or do any business anymore. But you know, Brett, I want to know now you had your stroke. You know what's odd? I've heard this before. You drove to work after
Well,
you
yes.
had your stroke.
Well, I drove to the restaurant, to the work. Oh no, I didn't. I went home, drove home, and of course, when I found out that I had problems speaking, I went and drove home. But I realized it's the luck of it's, I think, God, but the universe, whatever it is. If it's going to happen to me, it will happen whenever it does. And if I'm driving, God forbid, uh, I may hurt somebody else, but I got home. So once I got home, I realized I couldn't drive. In fact, it took me 9 months before I could drive again when they had the modification done to my car so I could drive it with my left foot.
Now, I'm curious. Do you are you affected on your right side?
Yeah, this is about the best I can do right now, and that's what I always say. I can't do it yet.
Right. That's that. You don't talk about. I want to mention something. Show TV Media has been asked to do this robotic therapy collab, and it's supposed to regain use of your foot. I'll tell you about it after. It's a very reasonable price, and it's been amazing. But now I want to comment, use the word yet. You and I talked a little bit about in the green room. There are three types of stroke survivors, or stroke people. stroke victims, people that have a stroke that happens to them, basically their life is over. Stroke survivor, very similar to a victim. They have a survivor to me is a person like in a wide open ocean treading water. If they stop treading, they'll sink. That's a survivor. As you mentioned, something that occurred, which is moving. You're not a victim, you're not a stroke survivor, you're a stroke thriver. And what I've watched, what you do, what I do, we're definitely different. We're definitely thrivers. So, what is your opinion is about that? Tell me about your attitude about victim, survivor, and thriver.
I love the analogy you make, Aaron. It's basically three ways you, or anybody can choose. They don't always realize they can choose. But if they are in a ship and the ship sinks, they have three choices. They can sink and die. Sorry. They can tread water, survivor. The first is victim. The second is survivor. The third starts swimming. And the swimming is what I saw after over 10 years of being angry and sad with the situation I was in. Then I went to a seminar, and in that seminar, I realized I could take my experience and I could tell others and help others. And that's in 2021, I started learning, and I started reaching out to the Facebook groups about strokes, and started helping other people. And that's grown, and I'm helping other people. And I wrote a course about it called the Stroke Survivor First Aid Kit, and I do a monthly group training, and I coach others that want to be more than a stroke survivor. They want to become a stroke thriver.
Yeah, but I've been serving the stroke community probably for going on 8 years. And I want to tell, if you're out there and you're a survivor, a stroke person, I want you to know what Brent just said, and I agree fully. It's a choice. You could choose to either go down the ship, tread water, or swim to safety and live again. Yeah, I'm telling you right now, I tell Brent and agree with him, my life is more fulfilled, more passionate, more rewarding than it's ever been in my life after my brain aneurysm stroke. You're experiencing the same thing, Brent, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. Yes, and it really, I'm grateful and honored that I have the opportunities now that I never had as a veterinarian, and using the skills that I had. So I'm learned that some of the skills, like for example, I used to be a business coach to other veterinarians before I joined the specialty and emergency hospital. And that was very fulfilling because I could help others. And I just take those same coaching skills. When I was a hospital administrator, I used them there, and I use them now. The same thing about helping other people.
That really, There's a saying that I use. I found my purpose in my storm, my purpose in pain. There is opportunity for anybody that has gone through pain in life, whether it be stroke, whether it be cancer, whether it be any trauma. You could use that pain as your purpose, as fuel to do what to help people, because people need to know they're not alone.
They aren't. And the other thing, I there's a life strategist. Maybe you've heard of him, Tony Robbins,
Oh,
and
sure.
I'm a fan of his. In fact, he's doing a 5-day challenge that, as we speak, have the second day later today. Um, but he often says life is um, either happens to you and you don't like it, or you realize life happens for me to push me to be more and to help others be more successful.
So, do you think it applies to stroke? That theory, that principle applies to stroke? You can either help it to you or for you.
Um, Aaron, whatever you said earlier, whatever trauma happens to a person, they choose. They can either be the three things we talked about. They can be a victim, they can be a survivor, or they can take it and use it, like you said, as fuel to propel them and to help others.
Well, people out there in the audience who watch this podcast, I want you to realize something. That your life is not over. In fact, your life is what you choose to become now. Stroke is not what you are. You are what you choose to become. And do not believe the lie of stroke, Brent. I know that you know the lie of stroke. It tells you your life is over, and that's the furthest from the truth.
And early on, after the stroke, I felt sometimes um, the same thing. I thought it's over. Um, when I was in the hospital, I remember a friend gave me way back when, people, a CD player, and they got me the CD recording of Jill. Um, Jill,
Dispenser.
but she had a hemorrhagic stroke, and she told her story. It was amazing, and I'm listening to that, and I'm grateful that I could still hear and make sense of what she said. And so I listened to that probably over the 2 weeks or when I was in the hospital, and that gave me hope. So many people have to need this. They have to realize there's hope and that they can take advantage of their situation so they can make it better.
Yeah, I think part of I didn't want anybody to think. I knew Brent had to have gone through it. I went through it. But there is a battle that begins to occur after stroke. It's a long war for your life, in my opinion. But it's an easy decision to say I'm just gonna be a survivor. I'm gonna be a thriver. I went through darkness. I went through depression. I went through even suicidal thoughts, and then I realized, hey, it's a choice. It's really a choice. So I don't want people to think it's easy. It's not an easy choice, but it is a choice.
But we can take really ask anyone, even the people we think are blessed or they're lucky. Uh, we look we look outside their life. But people don't realize they have the same problems and challenges we do. And they have different challenges, and you probably don't know that they have challenges, but they choose to be better than their problems and propel themselves to be better.
I think it's kind of like social media. Social media, everybody's taking pictures of smiling, having a great time, but you don't know if they're going home and just arguing like cats and dogs or kids on drugs or whatever. You don't see the reality of it. And I know Brenda's willing, I'm willing, anybody within Secure TV media is willing to tell you the reality and what's real. And what you see in Brent and I right here, right now, is real. We're here to tell you that you don't have to be a stroke victim. In fact, you don't have to be a stroke survivor. You be a stroke thriver. And it comes that you finally talking to yourself, look yourself square in the mirror and say, I'm going to rise up to help people.
Yes. Yes. Very good.
I really, really want to get you more involved, Brent, in Cirque TV media. Big things happening. So I'm looking forward to that. You're not going to believe that we got 3 minutes of the show left. So what would you tell the newer stroke survivor that's out there watching your show? What have you learned from your experience? What advice would you give that newer stroke survivor?
The same thing I said already is have hope. I know when you're in the deep depths of your depression, you maybe are suicidal feelings, but you have to understand, don't have to, you can do whatever you want, but if you will have a choice and you realize the feelings you have are not you. And if you will let them happen, feel your feelings, but you almost have a person that's different, and you can watch or you can listen to those feelings, but don't give in to them. Remain hopeful, because those feelings will get less and less loud. They'll still be there. I still have those things. The invitation to be depressed, the invitations to I can commit suicide. I had those, but less and less. And when they come on, I notice them. I say hello, but they just keep on going. It's like the clouds. Sometimes I notice one cloud and it looks interesting, or it looks threatening, like a big storm. But I notice it keeps going on if I don't engage.
Great analogy, Brent. I think we're at the end of the show. Appreciate that. Is really good. You can thrive. There's thriving. There's life after stroke. I'll put links to what Brent is doing in the YouTube video in the description. I'll put links to what he's doing weekly and how you can reach out and contact Brent and contact me. But Brent, I want to thank you so much for being on here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Aaron, and of course you're welcome.
All right, thank you. All right, everybody, remember, ask us any question in the comments and we'll get back to you. Please subscribe to Stroke TV Media on YouTube. And we're here for you. We love you. Bye, Brent. Talk to you later.
Fire.